Hey guys, sorry for the late post here. I've been driving my way through France and I've been totally neglecting my video editing. But today I have for you some of my favorite cheap eats that I've found in Paris so far. There's some I'll be highlighting here that you should be sure to not miss, even if you're visiting for only a few days. So you can find crepes around many street corners in Paris, and trust me, I've had my fair share of them while here. The best place I've found to date has got to be the crepes from La Droguerie. Not only are they delicious and served piping hot, the batter has just that hint of sweetness that when combined with a little bit of French butter, has you wishing that this would never end. So be sure to check them out in Le Marais.
Oh man, yummy. This is definitely super good. I highly recommend that you guys come and check this place out. The guy is super friendly and it's definitely worth a visit here.
Another common snack or treat that you can find almost anywhere is gelato. On a hot day, there's nothing better and more refreshing than deux boules de glace en pot. I am a sucker for caramel and more nutty flavors, so those are typically my go-tos. There's several really great shops, and the one that's near me is called Amorino, and you can find this shop almost anywhere in Paris.
Okay, so I tried to make it back here fast enough to film this ice cream, and I was eating it all along the way while it was melting on me. But between hand sanitizing and everything else, obviously it's pretty melted now. This is exactly what you need in 37-degree weather. Trying to get every last straw.
Okay, so for those that know Paris, you're gonna think I'm crazy for putting Angelinas and cheap eats together. I know. But if you're looking for something that is as satisfying as a light snack, look no further than their African chocolate drink. I got myself the iced version as this was during the heat wave, but the gritty texture of the chocolate, which tasted extremely rich, is unlike any hot or cold chocolate drink I've ever had, and you really won't be disappointed. Okay, so next, have you ever heard of a cafe that people seek out purely for its cauliflower dish? Well, neither have I until I heard about Miznon's cauliflower. This definitely could have been a meal on its own. As you can see, it was the size of my head. So cauliflower is like the more popular cousin to broccoli. You know, it's probably because it has so much range. People rice it, they mash it, they pressure cook it, they've turned it into pizza crust, they've made brownies with it, hummus with it, and so much more. But the way that they've baked the cauliflower here at Miznon, just whole as it is, just pays so much respect to the ingredient. And it really does show you the quality of the produce that they're using. And not only that, it just gave me a really good reminder of that sweet flavor that I really like about cauliflower. Okay guys, so as you can tell here, I did something totally stupid. I don't know what happened, but I've somehow managed to lose all of the footage of La du Falafel, and I am super bummed because this was my absolute #1 recommendation for you guys on places that you must visit while you're in Paris. It's way too bad because it was so good. You can probably tell that I'm really enjoying the food based on the mouthfuls I'm having in these pictures, right? These were honestly the best falafels I have ever had in my life. And on top of that, they had these awesome mango juices, and they also served this pita with this amazing sauce. It wasn't too spicy, although it looked like it packed a lot of heat, and I really recommend that you guys give this place a visit. Guys, I am here at Caractère de Cochon.
Caractère de Cochon.
A place that I've been really wanting to come. It's highly recommended by locals as the best place to get a ham sandwich.
Alors here is the Caractère de Cochon, one of the best places in Paris to find different kind of ham from all over Europe.
Okay guys, I've finally figured out the answer to how does someone fall in love and not get their heart broken. Well, the answer is jambon beurre. A simple sandwich, but not just any sandwich. It's on an especially good baguette, sliced in half, generously buttered with good ham tucked between. And not just any ham, but true jambon de Paris, which is a rarity. Solo, the energetic and happy shop owner, proudly showed me all the hams he's curated from across France, Spain, and Italy, and of course, he insisted that I try the French ham, which is more and more elusive these days.
Oh man, this is really good.
Okay guys, next is Restaurant Dong Phat. Sorry if I'm butchering the name here, but this place is just steps away from Rue Cler and really close to the Eiffel Tower as well. This was probably one of the best deals on food that I've found in Paris, where you can get dumplings, an entree, and lychee for just 11 euros. The food here was so much better than I expected, and the clay pot rice dish was extremely flavorful. So these dumplings might look simple, but they were way more juicy and savory than I expected. It almost seemed like they were double fried in oil because of just how crunchy it was. If you listen closely, you might even be able to hear it. So I'm not much of a spicy food person, but since they gave me this sauce, I decided I'd give it a go. So I tried the sizzling beef clay pot dish for my main, and boy, was this bowl just packed with flavor. The sizzling sound combined with that juicy looking beef just lathered in this savory sauce together with an egg. How could your mouth not water? I was expecting a strong soy sauce flavor, but this marinade had a more rounded flavor to it. Maybe some oyster sauce that balanced it out, and it had so much umami flavor. Okay guys, so they finished off the meal with a few lychees and some lychee juice. I was actually shocked at how good this was. I was really expecting some canned lychees, but you could tell that this was the good stuff. It was so fresh, I drank up all of the juice. Okay guys, hang tight for a couple more Asian food detours before we head on back to some French fare. Next is a place called Chez Ann Rive Droite. I was really craving shengjianbao, which is these pan-fried dumplings that I think are the absolute best in the world that I cannot access at home. But something else that they had on their menu was a giant xiaolongbao, and of course, me being me, I definitely wanted to try it. I always like to break the dumpling apart and drink the soup first, and the scariest part is lifting that dumpling up and hoping and praying to the food gods that it does not break. look at how thin this dumpling was. It was a miracle that I was able to get all of that broth onto my spoon. Okay, now to try the pan-fried buns that I came for. Now these do look different from the ones that I had in Asia, but let's give it a go. So the ones that I had back in Asia definitely had a thicker bun wrapping to it, and these ones were incredibly thin, but oh my gosh, it still had that same chewy texture that I really love about these buns, and it was really crispy too. Okay guys, last Asian food recommendation here on my Cheap Eats video, but honestly, were you expecting me to not make any recommendations of Asian fare when you're talking about Cheap Eats? So last is a place called Jixiao's Buns. It is a place that's known again for pan-fried dumplings, but what I wanted to really show you guys was not their dumplings, but instead their noodle soup. Oh my gosh, I bet your mouth is watering right now just looking at this video.
So I think that the best part about this is that you're not only enjoying the outside on a really busy street, it's great for people watching. This is actually a protected area where people come and they actually sell old books along the road. The other thing about it is that Notre Dame is right in the background, so it's an incredible view, and you're going to get some really lovely food as well.
Okay, so I got myself their house-made fresh soy milk. If you guys ever have a chance to try fresh soy milk, give it a go. It is so different from store-bought, and wow, this was the perfect pairing for the soup that I was having. Okay guys, so looking at the soup here, the noodles. There are far and few noodles that I think compare to my mom's homemade noodles that she makes back home. But boy, these were a really close second. They were springy, yellow, and they were so chewy. Together with the beef and the bits of cabbage topped with peanuts and that really salty and savory soup, this really hit the spot for me.
Okay, these pieces of meat are so tender. They're literally just falling apart.
Okay, so these pan-fried buns definitely looked a little bit more like the ones I've had in China, where it's served with vinegar. I was surprised again by how thin the wrapping was. And you guys can see from this video here, it is packed with juice and meat and corn that actually added a little bit of a sweet taste combined together with the vinegar. Was just everything you'd want to taste in one bite. Of course, being in Paris, there is no way that I could go without making a couple more French food recommendations for you guys. So next I brought myself over to Breizh Cafe, which is highly revered as the most popular and best place to go for traditional Breton style crepes, both sweet and savory. It's a really popular place among the locals, and reservations, even at lunchtime, are always recommended. Their slogan is crepes autrement, meaning crepes done differently, and that totally rings true. People come here not just for the crepes, but also for the cider cellar, as well as the fact that they have some Japanese refinements on their crepes, like adding yuzu or ginger. I stuck with a more traditional savory buckwheat crepe or galette this time, which had spinach, egg, comté, and jambon or ham. It was perfect with its lacy, crispy sides and more than perfect center, which was soft and not soggy whatsoever. The egg was cooked just right, and it had this sunniness to it. It was a little bit runny, and the bottom was just lightly cooked. The ham was mild in flavor, and the galette in general was crisp and light, and I thought the filling to crepe ratio was actually perfect. Okay, so to finish things off, we are going back to Miznon for something you absolutely have to try when you're in Paris. Their bœuf bourguignon pita. The smell itself is totally nuts. It's flavorful, super tender, and one of the best pitas I've ever had. Not only is the meat super tender, it's loaded with carrots and finished with some parsley and a slick of a little bit of some kind of mustard. It hits all the right flavor notes, sweet, savory, and even a little bit spicy. The meat itself just completely melts in your mouth, and the pita texture, I was just so shocked at how fluffy, soft, and chewy it was. La du Falafel was the best vegetarian pita, but with Miznon, meat lovers unite and rejoice. Okay guys, so that wraps up some of my favorite cheap eats that I have found in Paris. Again, if you've only got a day or two, be sure not to miss La du Falafel, Caractère de Cochon, as well as Miznon.